Okay. Next question we've got is, in terms of talent, what qualities / attributes should I look for in supporting managing such a project? What particular background should they have? So I guess this is I think slightly ambiguous in terms of what they're asking here. I guess it's the qualities for the person who will be managing this project. I think that's what they're asking.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question because I think this goes back to what I was alluding to about building a team across skills, because I think you obviously need to have some sales skills to be able to sell this internally. In terms of actually, there's different skills at different stages of the project. You've got, if you like, your initial vision, what it's going to deliver, the business benefits, and they absolutely have got to be aligned to marketing strategy. So, that's where you want your good strategists. You want people who really understand how this will align to the business. And then you're going to need doers. I mean, you need people who actually have got great attention to detail, really good at chasing people, also very good at not just doing project planning for the sake of project planning. Yes, I use tools like, Project Manager and things like that, but sometimes the process can overcome the implementation and actually the doing. And I'm a great believer in sort of small steps, small incremental steps, measurable, make a difference, and you can go back and you say, look, we did this in 3 months, it made a real difference, here's the metrics that have come out of it, now we're going to move on and we're going to do more. So I think it's, those campaign skills, as you mentioned, Joel, are key.
Okay. I was very interested in in the whole model you presented of how the different types of technology into play, and I was itching to ask about marketing automation. So I'm glad you got in there and showed that you see that very much as part of the mix of kind of tools that would make this kind of project work. I also was interested in the data as a service product, because that's not something I think I've heard of those things, but I hadn't considered them to be part of this kind of approach before. Are there lots of those things around? Are they quite specialist? I mean, presuming does D&B have such a thing?
D&B does have such a thing, yes, in terms of data services, one of the new services, hence why they're bringing keen to share this. But it is a very new approach, and I think this whole dynamic data is very new. But it is, there's going to be some case studies published later in the year as to how organisations are benefiting from it. But I think to me that the exciting thing is that it's actually about linking all these tools. That's really the point of today's webinar. It's not anymore about you have to have a huge budget to go and buy set up a massive data warehouse, because you don't actually need to keep all this data in one place anymore. Instead, what these tools allow you to do is keep the data in their functional departments doing what it does best, i.e. getting invoices out the door or making sure the salesperson uses Salesforce to contact the customer at the right time. And instead of having to pull all that data out and put it somewhere and then, just keep, if you like, the engine turning, you can actually do this much more dynamically now through the marketing automation tools and linking it with data as a service.
I mean, it potentially in the same way that marketing automation will inevitably demand a kind of a restructuring or a rethinking of how, it's certainly to many companies it require a kind of a rethinking of how marketing works. This dynamic approach to data is similar, because a lot of companies out there will have sourced data and used data from the likes of Dun & Bradstreet and their competitors over the years. But this is handling that actually in a very different way, and it's a different ethos and a different set of methodologies and processes. Is that right?
It is, and I think that's something that actually has been recognised, in fact, by Dun & Bradstreet themselves, because they're very much, it's not just sort of a one-off, it's very much more about the whole approach and the skill sets that are here to actually deliver that. So you're right, it's those experts, it's the implementation, it's looking at really getting the efficiency. So much more in terms of analytical skills and experts to actually make it happen. So that, if you like, that partnering is something that I know that D&B are taking very seriously.
Okay. Are there any dangers to this kind of approach? I mean, is this kind of migration, because it's potentially quite an ambitious project, and I guess if you've got to try and find a very hard business rationale for it, there may be a danger of over-promising for something. Is that something that you can recognise as being a reason why people might be nervous of embracing this kind of thing?
Yes, I do. I think that I think it's very dangerous to overpromise, and I think that's actually where it's gone wrong in the past. That actually there's been too much focus on, if you like, the big goal, the big dream, rather than actually the tangible business benefits that can be delivered very quickly. And I think that you're absolutely right, Joel. It would be a mistake, in a way, to just go just for the very big picture. You've just got to have these small incremental steps, whilst having the vision of where you want to get to, obviously, because that's what really can make a difference.
So it's very much a balancing act of the things that you know that can be achieved, but actually sewing in some bigger picture stuff to people who might buy that and take it on board.
Exactly. As I said, the marketing strategy and understanding how it links to the corporate strategy, that's your big picture, that's big hands-on, big map. But what it needs to happen is then broken down into tactical, implementable steps by functional area. So you need the two things to be aligned.
In the same way as you had a strategy for your marketing plan, you also have a tactical activity as well.
Exactly. So, yeah, absolutely.
It's a great opportunity. Everyone, we always talk about the need for marketers to market themselves internally. I guess this is a superb opportunity for them to get to try doing that. So it's a great idea. We've come to the end of the questions now, and we're almost out of time, so I think I'm going to call a halt to this afternoon's webcast now. I'd like to thank Shane once again for her presentation today. I thought it was excellent. I think it's very thought-provoking, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people looking at their data and how to use it better. Data is a perennial issue in B2B, and what's being laid out here is a very interesting way of using it and exploiting it and maximising it and making it potentially not the bugbear that it always has been. So very grateful for that.
Thank you very much, Joel. And I'd just like to add my thanks. I'd like to add my thanks to Dun & Bradstreet. As I say, I am independent, and I, really think this research is really interesting and very useful. So some great tools there, and I hope everybody gets some benefit from it. So thank you very much.